Greetings, welcome to Dungeons and GURPS. I'm Enraged Eggplant, and in this video I want to show off a combat example using a spellcaster against some orcs. I think 2 or 3 will be enough. So our spellcaster in question is Joanne. She is a sorceress. I decided to start with simple things. She is a sorceress with a phoenix bloodline, so she can cast fire and movement spells. I made her using the template, the sorcerer template that I made, and for some reason it ended up being only 141 points instead of 150. So I guess I messed up somewhere. So what I wanted to show you, first, here are her spells. She has Sorcerer's Empowerment 4, so she can cast quite many spells. She is mostly combat oriented. She has Explosive Fireball 1, Flaming Armor, Flaming Sphere 3, Glue 1, Haste 1 and Wall of Fire 2. And also in GCS I created the Improvisation Advantage container and disabled it so it doesn't actually require any points. So since I have a GCS library with all the spells written, I can just browse through them and put everything that the character can improvise or will improvise in this container for ease of reference. So with your 4 improvisation points, she can cast quite many spells. See, she can cast Apportation to bring some not heavy objects. She can set something on fire, but I guess she can do it with her learned spells. Disarm too is a very useful spell. She can cast a normal fireball or a fire cloud, hit water, ignite fire, manipulate 2, open door 4, oven mitts, personal flee, personal jump, and create a puff of smoke. That's a lot. I wouldn't even say that improvisation is not useful here. Those are some useful spells. Also, in Foundry, what you can do is you can create a journal entry, for example with spells, just for reference, so you don't have to open the book or the page or whatever. They're all here. So I think I copied all of the spells except for Explosive Fireball, because that one is actually in a pyramid issue that I should not show on the video. So, and she is going to fight Orc Axeman. I think let's try 2 of them. Tend to overestimate spellcasters, or sometimes underestimate. We'll see how it goes. They have axes, they have some armor, they have shields. Their skills are not very good, but decent. And Joanne herself has a short staff, has a melee weapon and some padded cloth armor. The short staff uses the small sword skill, which is a fencing skill, so it gets penalties from encumbrance. That's why I decided to have only some very light armor, so she does not get encumbered. Okay, now let's see. First, let's roll initiative. She goes first, and let's roll the spawning points. 1d6 for Joanne, and 1d6, and again 1d6 for the orcs. Okay, I have to reroll. Let's reroll Joanne. She starts at the second spawning point, And orcs start at 3 and 6. Where is 3? Oh, they're all here. I see. So, what spell does Joanne have ready at the start? I have no idea, because this is a test combat. That would be more easy in an actual game. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's roll 1d. And she has the flaming sphere ready. Okay, that's what she can do with a flaming sphere here. Not that much. She could actually try to hit the orc, but I think the smarter move would be to take a step back and ready to switch to Wall of Fire. Then the orcs move. What is their move? Their move is 5. Actually 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Joanne casts her Wall of Fire. Since she's a sorceress, she doesn't actually need a casting roll. She just places the effect using the innate attack skill. Wall of Fire is placed using innate attack gaze, but she only has innate attack projectile that defaults to... All innate attack specialties default to one another at -2. So she can roll at 13, -2, +4 for targeting a hex, and her Wall of Fire is level 2, which gives us 12 square yards of walls. Let's say that a wall is 1 yard tall, and just draws 12 yards of the wall, if she can make the roll, because there's not going to be any range penalty. She's going to separate herself from the orcs. And let's roll. They made it. They barely made it. So let's take out our pencil. Can I change the color? I can. Get red. That's 2 yards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is a firewall. If an orc decides to cross it, he'll take 2d damage. And Joanne also loses 1 FP. That's important. Okay, done. Now it's the orc's turn. What are they going to do? He goes, guess 1, 2, 3, because it's difficult terrain, and he can't move any further. He's going to just get into the water. And this orc is going to go around. He just doesn't want to take this much damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Joanne, what does she do? She understands that her wall placement wasn't a smart move, because she could have placed it that way. Also, I think, oh no, she's probably tall enough to see over there, place the wall. She needs to have line of sight. So she just takes a step back and switches to... What can she switch to? Let's not switch, let's just take a step back and cast another flame wall. So that's plus 4 minus 2 makes another wall, cutting off. Okay, it's somewhere there. It doesn't matter where it ends. And she loses another FP. It is more or less safe now. The orc trundles 2 steps through the water. And this one moves 1, 2, 3, 4 yards. Joanne, feeling safe, she just decides to step behind the pillar and ready switch to the Flaming Sphere 3. Well, no, she switches to Haste. The orc moves 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now she casts Haste on herself. This is a buff spell, so it usually requires the innate attack gaze roll to cast, but when you cast it on yourself, you do not have to use it. So she just succeeds automatically. She loses 1 fatigue point, and her basic speed now is 6.5. She increased her basic speed by 1. And she can step. Why not? Now, the orcs move 1, 2, 3, 4. This one 1, 2, 3, 4. She sees the approaching attacker. She takes a step back, switches to the Flaming Sphere. Flaming Sphere 3. The orc. 1, 2. Can he maybe climb it? No, he doesn't have the climbing skill, and climbing skill has a quite unforgiving default. D4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Joanne takes a step back, and let's see. The Flaming Sphere is not a simple spell. It's not a fireball. It's a fireball that bounces along the ground as a guided missile. It uses some special rules for guided and homing weapons. So let's check the distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards. So she can't actually hit this orc immediately. She casts the spell, and she doesn't have to roll anything. And the sphere bounces 5 yards per turn. Yeah, there's a fireball here. Now, she does lose another FP. It will hit on the next turn, but it is a guided, not homing, so she has to keep concentrating every turn. The orc sees this missile, just takes a step back, takes a step this way, and decides to do an all-out attack dodge, because blocking a fire attack with a wooden shield is not very smart. This orc 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 yards. Joanne, she has to make an attack maneuver now, because now this flaming sphere can reach the orc. And since it took more than 1 second to reach, it is considered to be an aimed attack, so she gains the +3 accuracy bonus. And you apply? You actually ignore all range penalties to hit. That's a special feature. A special feature of the guided and homing attacks. So it's +3 for aiming. She rolls and she makes it. The orc dodges. He dodges at +2. He makes it by 1. So he actually gets his shield damaged. Let's roll 3d damage. That's 9 burning damage. And what is the shield's DR? 6. So 3 points of damage go through the shield somehow and damage the arm. That will be the left arm. So yeah, he actually takes 1 point of damage from that burn. But that's not it, because if a wooden shield gets hit by a burning attack, it may catch on fire, but only if it takes 10 or more points of damage in 1 second, so it doesn't apply now. Still, using all-out attack dodge here was a smart decision. Now, the orcs move. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Joanne, what does she do? That's not a good spot to be in. She surrounded herself with a wall of fire. So now, can she do anything interesting? Yes, she can. She moves on the pillar and takes a ready maneuver to switch to the glue spell. Now the orcs 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That's going to be a committed attack at double steps. Okay, let's see. Where is it? Let's roll. Ah, yes. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Axe +2. He makes it. Joanne decides to parry, and she can use retreating parry, because her short staff is a fencing weapon, and while using retreating parry she gets +3, not +1 to parry. That's a very important thing. +3, she retreats and parries. She parries successfully, but her short staff weighs only 1 pound, while the axe weighs 4 pounds. This triggers the parrying heavy weapons rule. Since the axe is 4 times as heavy as the short staff, there is a chance of breakage. Let's see. A weapon parrying 3 times its own weight has a 2 in 6 chance of breaking, and 4 times is 3 in 6. So let's roll 1d, and if I roll 1, 2 or 3, the short staff breaks. It doesn't, it holds. So the parry was successful. Lucky Joanne. So now she has the glue spell ready. She changes her facing and she casts the glue spell that also... What skill does it use? Projectile? Oh, it uses gaze. She is going to target this hex. I am clicking all the wrong things. What am I doing? I am sorry. See? There's no range penalty. I don't know why it's at 1.73 yards. She gets +4 for targeting a hex and -2 for defaulting her skill. She loses 1 FP, of course, and she rolls to cast. She makes it. Now, this is an area attack that usually cannot be defended against. Oh, I don't want to do that. Let's make the glue yellow. So, come on, I just want to draw. It covers these hexes, but since the orc is... Oh, the orc actually cannot retreat. Yes, you could have dodged by retreating from the area of effect, but since the orc took a committed attack with double step, cannot do it. So he is now grappled by glue's strength 10, if I recall things correctly. Right? See? Glue, it's binding 10. Okay. He's grappled. Now, it's the orc's move. This orc tries to break free. What is his strength? 13. Makes it by 1. And the binding... Oh, binding fails. So he actually breaks free. This orc moves. 2, 3, 4. Joanne. She's in a bad spot. A very bad spot. She is pretty much surrounded. So she decides to retreat through the wall of fire. That's a bold move. She has move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She takes 2d burning damage. 12? Okay. That's bad for her. Not only because she only has... Oh, by the way, since this is an area of effect, it deals large area injury. So to determine your DR against such attacks, you take your torso DR and your least protected location. That's usually the eyes. Add them together, divide them by 2, and you get your DR. So in this case, it's just DR1. It takes 11 points of injury. That triggers a major wound. Let's go for stun. I guess she doesn't process, she just gets stunned immediately. And then another check for going into the negatives. So she's still alive. Also, since she took more than 10 basic burning damage in a single second, all her clothes are set on fire. And she's going to take 1d minus 3 burning damage per turn, if I recall things correctly. Well, actually it's 1d minus 1. 1d minus 3 is... I mean 1d minus 4 is when only some part of your clothing is on fire. So I think it's safe to declare her dead. So in this example I managed to show some spellcasting mechanics. She spent quite a lot of FP. If she had cast I think 4 more spells she would be tired, and that would greatly reduce her combat capabilities. I showed off some guided weapons, walls, setting things on fire, even weapon breakage. I didn't show any maledictions or proper buff spells, but maybe I'll show that off later or some next time. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.